Ah, oh, dear oh me. Miami. Probably the biggest build-up of a single race in Formula One history. Probably. Where shall we start? We had the glitz and the glamour. We had Michael Jordan, greatest basketball player in the history of the NBA. We had Serena Williams, the Williams sisters, two best tennis players. We had multiple celebrities turning up. We even had Michael Douglas. Look, it was the celebrity list on for this weekend was second to none. To me, not as good as the Silverstone ones when I had Tom Cruise and I had Harrison Ford. A bit more. To me, that was probably better. But this weekend was probably the biggest hyped Grand Prix in the past of all time. Probably if you don't include the first one, because that was the big build up in the 50s. After that, this is probably the most hyped Grand Prix ever. Now, after the practice sessions we witnessed over the weekend, after the practice sessions that we witnessed from the female races, which was amazing. For me, the females stole the show. I don't care what anybody says. The female racing stole the show. The two races that they had with the front three girls, Kai Valonen she was second place and she spun out yesterday. Today, she was fighting again and she spun out again. Her rear wing. And then we had Jamie Chadwick winning a double header this weekend. So for me, the race was amazing. That's where I lost my voice, by the way, yesterday, watching the female races, because that was exciting. That reminded me of the old racing, the way it used to be like, when everyone had a shot. Now, they brought in these new regulations, which I'm going to turn this music down. They brought in these new regulations, because they said there's going to be more closer racing. There's going to be more overtakes. More cars are going to be able to overtake. But what do you continue to see week in and week out? That's all we see. The train of cars. Not many overtakes, but what do we hear every time and see with our eyes? The train of cars. Now, we know who the favourites are to win this Grand Prix, to bring the championship. If you don't know who the favourites are, you're a moron. Don't watch this show. Don't watch this review. Your place is not here in Formula One. The favourites to win the championship are the Red Bull and the Ferrari. Mercedes, forget it. Now, I'm not saying Mercedes are not going to fight for the title. They will. Being 8 Constructors' Championship in a row. The greatest team probably in F1 history. No team has ever done that, won 8 Constructors in a row. And they won 7 championships in a row with Lewis Hamilton. No other team has ever got near that. Now, I'm not saying to Mercedes to give up. Never give up. I'm not saying to give up. But sometimes they have to be realistic. Maybe we're gonna know in the next couple of races if they're gonna scrap this car and start redeveloping another car for next year. They're already starting on next year's development because I know this car is practically in the toilet. But they're still gonna work on the car. Come Spain, when they put that new floor on, I said it yesterday on my video, when they put the new floor on in Spain, and they're still fighting for 6th and 5th place, they know then the championship will be over. Spain, we're going to know in Spain. We're not going to know in Monaco, because that's after Spain. Monaco, anybody... Look, we know about Monaco. Once you're in front, you've won. But we're going to know in Spain, because we know the track. This is why the reason why they have the winter test in there, because it's one of those tracks. It's a complete track. You can overtake, you can get straight line speed, slow speed corners. This is why they have the winter testing there. And we're going to know after Spain where Mercedes are at. Now, on to this weekend. It was a big build-up. It was. I got to admit, it was a good build-up. They had all the palm trees out. It's Miami. One of the greatest states in the world. One of the greatest cities in the world. Probably up there. One of the greatest. We had a lot of Mexican people over there because a lot of Mexican people live in Florida. So there was a lot of fans there for Checo. I saw that all this weekend. All the fans were behind Checo. A lot of Spanish-speaking people live there. So they were all behind Checo and Ferrari and Sainz. But what it boils down to, the build-up was amazing. The build-up was amazing. 10 out of 10 build-up. They had the food. They had the music. They had the opening ceremony. It was like a fucking World Cup. Like the Olympics, it was an open ceremony, even though most of the people that came on stage, I never heard of them, but it was still good. You could see where they was going. But what it boils down to, after when you take all that apart, get rid of all the glitz and the glamour, what it boils down to, the race was horrendous. It was horrendous. I do not care what anybody says. Look, don't make your opinion now. Look, when you wake up tomorrow morning, go and watch the race again, and then give your opinion. But I'm going to tell you now, the race was horrendous. There was one safety car at the end, which they called it virtual safety car, and it should have been a safety car straight away. They put virtual, there was a car in the middle of the track, not moving, broke down. Oh, what we're going to do, we're going to bring out the virtual safety car. You stupid geek. That should have been a safety car straight away. Not virtual safety car. Because you knew the safety car was coming. It's not like the car's going to start flying like Back to the Future and fly back into the pits. We knew that someone had to come and take the car off. So obviously, it's going to be a safety car. So for me, that call at the beginning was a waste of time. Virtual safety car. Apart from that, the race was horrendous. Load the trainer cars. Load the trainer cars. Just like 2 weeks ago in Imola. So these new regulations have really, really worked out. All you're seeing is a train of cars. Last year was much better. The year before was much better. This year, to me, they've got it wrong. They have got it wrong. Ground effect. Ground effect, my arse. Oh, it's going to be good follow. We see the cars overtake. There's hardly any overtakes. There's no overtakes. You're just seeing the trainer car following each other. Follow the leader. Follow the fucking leader. That's what we're seeing. Very simple. Now, let's get onto this review. I'm not going to... Listen, I know I saw on Twitter about this Mercedes thing. People talking about Lewis Hamilton. Fourth time under a safety car. Russell got lucky. I got no comment on that one. No comment. You'll hear it in a minute after the video. Now, let's get this fan on. There you go. Nice little fan. If you hear the fan on the microphone, I'm sorry, but I am sweating, so I need a bit of air. Now, at the beginning of this Grand Prix, I was asking the Sky commentators that, let me just bring this round. There you go. At the beginning of this Grand Prix, they was asking the commentators, who do you think is going to win this Grand Prix? You think it's just the top four? Do you think the other teams are going to have a chance? They all said, nah, it's between Ferrari and McLaren. I disagree. No, it's Ferrari and Red Bull. I disagree. This was at the beginning. This was at the beginning of the race because I thought there was going to be about 3 or 4 safety cars and which was going to mix up the grid. If you watch my review yesterday at the qualifying, I said here, I said at the end of the day, whoever gets lucky with the safety car and who's body pits at the right time, they're the ones that are going to win the race. Not necessarily the fastest car, or not necessarily the most skilled driver. I said this yesterday on my video. This was before the race. So I disagree with them. I thought, no, anyone could win it. Gasly, Albon, any of them could win it. Never Latifi is going a bit too far, unless everybody crashes out. Apart from that, I thought everybody else is going to have a chance. Now, before the race, they were saying the estimated pit was good between 12 to 18 laps. After between 12 to 18 laps, they're going to start seeing teams coming. Because before the race, you had a few drivers on the hard tyres. Russell was on the hard tyres because obviously he was way back in 12th. Vettel was on the hard tyres, and I think Stroll was on the hard tyres because that was near the backs. And Ocon, because Ocon didn't compete in the qualifying yesterday because he had problems with his car. So he was basically near the back. So he was starting on hard tyres. Before that, that's what you're going to do. You're going to go for a long strategy. For me, if Lewis was started off in 5th place, I would have started on the hard tyres. You got nothing to lose with the hard tyres because you got to think about it. If you've got the hard tyres on and you're looking at this track, you're thinking there's definitely going to be a safety car. If you can hold out and watch everybody pit and you can stay on your hard tyres, yeah, you can say, you know what? Let's start on the hard tyres. This is why Russell called it today. Russell called it today. He goes, look, don't pit. Let's start on the hard tyres. Tyres are going good. Times are going good. Don't pit. Let's just leave it the way it is. Because George is actually calling his own strategy. The strategy team ain't got a clue at Mercedes. Zero clue at the moment. Russell's calling his own strategy. And I thought, when he said that, I thought to myself, clever Russell. Very clever, because that's the kind of thing I would have done. I would say, you know what? There's going to be a safety car somewhere. Let's stay on the hard tyres. Let everybody go and pit, and we can gain position. Clever, man. A lot of people are not going to like it because they're Lewis Hamilton fans. I'm a Lewis Hamilton fan, but at the end of the day, you got to call it that straight down the middle. George made his own luck today. That's it. He made his own luck. He called the right call, and he finished in front of Lewis Hamilton. That's just the way it was. That's it. That's just my opinion on it. Nothing else. Now, lap 3, Hamilton passed Alonso. Because at the beginning, when he said, lights out the way we go, Lewis Hamilton lost 2 places to Alonso and Gasly. So straight at the beginning, I thought to myself, Lewis is having a horrendous race. Alonso bumped into Lewis Hamilton. I'm not sure if it was by accident. I thought that Alonso should have gave him more space. I thought Alonso should have pulled out of it and let Lewis go through. But being Alonso is not going to pull out of nothing. This guy is a renegade, savage. This is why he's my favourite driver on the grid. He went for Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton, he clicked a bit at the back of Lewis Hamilton's car. There was no damage on Lewis Hamilton's car. A few laps later down the line, Lewis Hamilton came onto the radio. He was talking to Bono on the radio, and he was saying that, you know, there might be a problem with the car. Bono says, can't see nothing kind of data. Carry on. So that was it. He carried on. Leclerc, he was in front. He got the good start. Sainz got passed by Max at the beginning in the first turn, which I thought to myself, Sainz, to me, Sainz should have hung in there. To my opinion, he could have hung in there a bit longer, and he probably could have kept second place. But even if he would have kept second place with the straight line speed that Red Bull got, Red Bull would have passed him. The Max would have passed him anyway. But he passed him on the first turn. So again, it was Charles versus Max Verstappen. Again and again and again and again. It was Charles versus Max Verstappen. And lap 6, Hamilton. That was at the beginning. So when it came to lap 6. Hamilton passed Gasly on the DRS zone because I think after lap 5 they started activating the DRS zone. Hamilton passed Gasly because Gasly passed him at the beginning, and not long after that he passed Alonso as well. So lap 8 there was problems. Carew come on the radio, the Red Bull, you know, Carew, the Red Bull informer. He came out on the radio and he said to the commentators that the Ferrari are coasting the Ferrari team are coasting the Ferrari drivers through the laps. This is what he said. So basically, that obviously Red Bull going to come on the radar. I'm going to start analysing the Ferrari car. And they spotted something and they said, look, the radio guy come out to Hamilton and said, look, there's a problem with the front right tyre of Charles Leclerc. So at this point, you could see that Max Verstappen was gaining on Leclerc. So I thought to myself, look, it's a matter of time before he passes Leclerc. Straight line speed, you got 3 DRS zones. He's going to pass Leclerc. So what happened? He passed Leclerc. Now, Hard tyres, Ocon was on, like I told you at the beginning. Tsunoda was on the hard tyres at the beginning. Vettel, Stroll and Russell. So, lap 17, Stroll, for me, this was the overtake of the race. Very underrated overtake. A lot of people weren't talking about it because it's the Aston Martin. Because it wasn't Max Verstappen, the commentators are not going to talk about it. But I spotted this overtake. Stroll passed Latifi on the inside of lap 17 and it was absolutely amazing. They was going wheel to wheel. Stroll stuck in there. He kept his nose in front, stuck in there, and Latifi bailed out like he always does, because that's Latifi. So Stroll passed him lap 17. For me, that was the overtake of the race. Lap 20, Perez was losing power. He came out in the radio and he was talking to his engineer. Losing power, losing power. Engineer said to him, look, you're not losing power. Everything's fine. You're not losing power. Perez goes, how can you tell me I'm not losing power? I can see I'm losing power on the straights. So I thought at this time we're going to have another blowout. Preferably, I probably thought I wanted it to be Max Verstappen's car, but it wasn't. It was Perez. And Perez, I like Perez, but at the day, he's at the Red Bull, so it's one of them, innit? They saw what the problem was on the data. They fixed it back on the computer. Everything was fine with Perez, and Perez continued on his way. Lap 23, Hamilton made his pits. For me, I thought it was a bit early. I thought Hamilton still had a bit more grip on his tyres. But, as you know, the strategy team at Mercedes, the once great strategy team at Mercedes, used to be the best strategy in the F1, not anymore. It used to be the best strategy team. And they called Hamilton on lap 23, and for me, that was
sloppy.
Yes, it was very sloppy, because I thought Hamilton could have went on to at least lap 30 and then see what's going on then, because at the end of the day, it's one of these tracks. You have to wait for a safety car. That goes back to my point at the beginning. It doesn't matter if Hamilton was in 4th place or 5th place, wherever he was at the beginning. They should have put Lewis Hamilton on the hard tyres like George, just to see how it goes. They know they haven't got the fastest car. They know that Ferrari and Red Bull are way ahead of Mercedes. And I think Mercedes made that wrong call. They should have kept Lewis. They should have put Lewis on the hard tyres and let him go the long route. I wouldn't be surprised if Lewis Hamilton could have done the whole race on hard tyres. So, lap 25, the pit Leclerc, they put the hard tyres on there. Max Verstappen put it in lap 27 to cover Ross Charles. He put him on the hard tyres. By this time, Max Verstappen had a commanding lead. Lap 28, Sainz came and put the tyres on. Hard tyres, 5.4. And then Perez pitted at the same time, just behind him. 3.1 second on the hard tyres. Sainz, I think his rear right tyre got stuck. That's why he was in a pit for 5.1 seconds. So, lap 34, Curry comes on the radar saying George pits, he will come out in behind Lewis Hamilton. The geezer was salivating at the bit. He had spit come down his face, saliva. He was like, "Oh, look at that! If they pit Russell now, he'll come out behind Lewis Hamilton on fresh tyres." That's just Carew. And then all of a sudden, gone. Never heard of him again. 10 minutes later, he came back on the radio again. Oh, George Russell can catch Lewis. Over and out. That's his fucking contribution to this Formula 1 race. Like I said yesterday, Paul di Resta 2.0. Very simple. Now, this is where it all started to mess up, because I knew it was going to come, because I knew that the Mercedes strategy team, every time a safety car comes out, you know what I mean, they are pathetic. Pathetic. Now, lap 41. Yeah, lap 41, virtual safety car come out. Lando Norris mashed up his car. I knew that was coming the way he was driving. He was frustrated all race, Lando Norris. Frustrated. He mashed up his car, and straight away, his car was on in the middle of the track. And then I thought, yeah, when the car's in the middle of the track, it ain't going anywhere. Like I said, it's not Back to the Future. It's not the DeLorean. It's not going to suddenly just start flying over the track and go straight into the pits. And I'm going to have Duck behind him. No, the car has to be picked up by, whatever they are called, to pick up the car. And what happened? They put the virtual safety car out, and I was thinking, hold on, you need a safety car, not a virtual safety car. So they kept a proper safety car, because maybe a potential red flag. So what happened? They had the virtual safety car for 2 laps. Russell in the perfect place at the perfect time, like he's done all season. 4th time he's got lucky over Lewis Hamilton. George Russell, but it's not his fault. It's not his fault. Because George Russell, previous laps before, he said to the Mercedes pit team, do not pit me. Let's stay out on these hard tyres and see what happens with the safety car. He called it. He's telling the strategy team what to do. He's telling the strategy team, remember that. So you can't blame George Russell. He's just doing his race. What happens? He was at the right place at the right time. He came into the pits, put his hard tyres on. Perfect. Perfect. You know his medium tyres. Perfect. So he's got his fresh tyres on, and I thought, you know what? I don't want to pit Lewis now. So the Mercedes team came out with all the tyres ready for Lewis. Oh, look at the Mercedes team getting ready. I was thinking, where's Lewis? No Lewis. So I was like, all right, give him another go. He'll go around again. The safety car is still coming. He'll have the nice fresh tyres in. They were saying that they was going to put the soft tyres on Lewis. What happened? No Lewis. Then Lewis comes on the radio. Bono comes on the radio. Oh, Lewis, what's going on there? You want to pick then? And there's Lewis. I ain't got a clue. It's down to you guys. And what did Bono say? I don't know. And there's Lewis. I don't want to lose position to Russell. And I was thinking, you're going to lose position to Russell anyway after the safety car, because you'll have your dry old hard tyres on, and Russell is going to have his brand new medium tyres on. So you might as well pit anyway, put the soft tyres on, and just motor through, because you still had about 12 laps at this time. And I was thinking, what the fuck is going on with this strategy team? Mercedes goes, here's Bono, just stay out then. There you go. So he had 3 laps to come up with a conclusion, and he goes, oh, you know what? Just stay out. There you go. That's the Mercedes strategy team. This came from one of the best strategy teams in Formula One history to the worst. I would take Williams' strategy team now over Mercedes at this point. But I'm not blaming Russell. Russell was clever. He's the one, he said, let's start on the hard tyres. That goes back to my point. They should have started Lewis off on the hard tyres. My opinion. So, Charles, I think Ferrari made a mistake as well. They made a mistake. But no one's going to listen to me. You're going to get the keyboard warriors typing away on the Twitter. The geeks. I think Ferrari should have pitted as well. Maybe they should have pitted Sainz. They should have pitted one of them. Because if they would have pitted, then that would have probably... I don't think Red Bull would have pitted, because they was in front. They wouldn't have pitted. They should have pitted Charles, medium tyres, and I had to go at Max. And I think if they would have done that and I would have pitted Charles, he would have won this race. But they never. They kept him out on the same tyres. Perez pitted. And I thought at this time, after the safety car resumes, Perez is going to pass Sainz. But it never happened. It never happened. Sainz kept him behind. Max and Charles was having a good battle. They was having a good battle for a few laps, but the straight line speed on that Red Bull was just too much. This is why when you get 3 DRS zones, it favoured Red Bull today. And at the end, Max Verstappen won the race. As soon as Max Verstappen won the race, I just turned off my TV. I didn't care about the ceremony. I don't want to watch Christian Horner having beer, champagne poured over his head, seeing his saliva run down his mouth, going, Nah, I'll watch the race and I'll just turn it off. Start preparing my video for you guys to watch my video. And that's the end of the review. Max Verstappen won the race. I think there's how many points between them now? 19 points. So far, he's still got a little cushion, but he was 50-odd points a few weeks ago. Now he's 19 points. Ferrari needs to sort themselves out. I still think Ferrari's still the favourite to win the title, in my opinion. I'm still backing Ferrari at this time. Very. Oh,
it's an interesting tactic.
Trust me, interesting.
Keep pole position. You just don't need to do the lap.
So yeah, that's the one I'm going for at the moment. But yeah, that's it, man. That's the end of the review. That's it. The Mercedes strategy team.
Dumbass motherfucker.
That's what it is. The Mercedes strategy team is.
Damn!
That's what it is. Very simple. So this is Solo P1. Don't forget to hit subscribe button. I am on Spotify and iTunes right now. I will be putting my video as soon as this video ends up on iTunes and Spotify. If you want to find me on Spotify and iTunes, it is Solo P1 F1 Reviews. There it is titled at the bottom in brackets, Solo P1 F1 Reviews. Thank you for the support yesterday on my video, on my qualifying video. Thank you for the likes. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you for the views. Thank you for the lovely comments. But don't forget to hit the like button because it helps out the video. It gets it out in the algorithm. And that's how it goes. Thanks for the views on my other stuff as well. I've had a good weekend this weekend. 2 weeks time we've got Spain. Can't wait. We're going to know what's going on with Mercedes in Spain. They've had the front wing. They've had the rear wing. Now they're having the floor. We're going to know after Spain where they are. We're going to find out where they are, Mercedes. So, this is Solo P1 signing out. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much, guys.